I'm Sam Barron, and today we have with us young entrepreneurs. You're going to hear what they have developed and the products and how they plan to change the world as only the youth really can do. And with us, our first entrepreneur, Marco Carranza. Welcome to Government Connection.
Thank you.
And Christina Sunicone. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you.
And also with us is their instructor, Chris Kovitz, and Chris is with Tamisa.
Yes.
It's your consulting firm?
Yes, it's my own company. That's right.
Chris, let's start with you. You've brought together a number of different groups and organizations to kind of create this youth entrepreneurship program.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure.
Who's involved?
Well, there were a great deal of individuals that brought people together, and I wasn't the only one. But basically the organization Las Artes, Arts and Education School, was the starting organization for this whole process. And they had a lot of students that were interested in entrepreneurship. And then through the assistance of Pima Community College and the Small Business Development Center, another charter school called YouthWorks, which supplied us with our products, which we can talk more about going forward. Junior Achievement, we use some of their material as well. And myself as the instructor, basically, so a lot of six different organizations altogether, but ultimately to provide a 6-week course to young aspiring entrepreneurs to teach them what entrepreneurship is all about and see if in fact that's the route they want to follow or not. That was basically the objective for the 6-week class.
All right, well, let's turn to the entrepreneurs. Marco, let's start with you. You're the CEO,
Yes.
the president of this new organization that you're founding. You're going to tell us about that. But how did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? What made you get interested in this?
Well, I mean, I had a feeling, before, but I never really got, thought too seriously about it. And then my friend told me about this program, and I got into it. And, after going through the 6 weeks and actually starting up a business and learning hands-on and stuff, it, made me realize more and more that I really do want to do this and take that route instead of working 9 to 5. So that's basically it.
Do you have a day job?
No, right now I don't.
Okay. All right, Christine, how about you? What brought you into this?
Well, I never really liked the thing about working for a boss, and I wanted to be my own boss and have a say what goes on in my own business. And I went through this course and it really clarified that I really want to be an entrepreneur.
And Chris, let me ask you, why is entrepreneurship important for young people today? What's the connection here? How do we connect the kids up with
I think there's
business?
a lot of reasons, and first of which, what do you hear about today? Do you hear about companies hiring? Typically not. You're hearing about companies letting individuals go. So I think if students at a young age can understand if they have the skills, the drive, the desire, the creativity to be self-sufficient, as Christina was alluding to, there's no better time to start that and start to become an entrepreneur and learn those skills than right away. So that's one issue, is to be able to, or one benefit is to be able to stand on your own feet. But two, certainly a lot of students may find that a traditional 4-year college is a route they want to pursue or not. And if that's not a route for them, etc., for various reasons, I in fact started out at a community college. I wasn't ready for a 4-year college right away. Then this again gives them an alternative to going to a 4-year college, but they can still pursue that. But again, it's a way for them to really be self-sufficient. And I would also suggest that the skills that the students have learned, and they can attest to this, are skills that they would not only learn or need to apply as entrepreneurs, but if they're working for someone else anyway. How many companies today do they say, we want you to be entrepreneurial, working for us? So I think these entrepreneurial skills will be good for them if they run their own companies or if they choose to work for someone else. So extremely applicable.
Well, Christine, let's talk. Christina, you're the Chief Financial officer of this new company. We're going to talk about the company and what your product is in a minute. But when you took this class and got involved with this whole training, what did you find to be the most interesting, maybe surprising thing about it? What did you find was the thing you learned that you think is going to be able to make you most successful?
Well, I really learned how to advertise and who your target customers are, and that was challenging, but the outcome was great.
All right, Marco. What about you? When you think about the program, and now you have a better idea what entrepreneurship is all about. What are the things about it you like the most?
Well, the things I like about it the most is the teamwork. You know, you have to have a good team around you and everyone working together, and everyone has their own little assignments and stuff, you know. And basically just running your own business and having a say with what goes on in the day-to-day stuff, and controlling where the money goes and all that, you know. So that was something I really liked about it.
What did you dislike?
Oh man, cold calling, having to just start calling people and try and talk to them and talk about stuff. It's really nerve-wracking, but once you do it a couple times, you get used to it and it becomes easier and easier. So.
What about you, Christine? Likes and dislikes, anything particular?
Well, I didn't like the cold calling. It was scary at first, but once you got to call them persistently, they would finally figure out that you're legitimate, and they would talk to you and hear out your product and all that stuff. And yeah.
Okay, Chris, what tell us about the format of the course and the objectives and and how the whole thing was organized.
Sure. The overall format, it changed, I will say that, from the beginning to the end. It was intended to be 2 weeks of following material that Junior Achievement had provided us with, and then 4 weeks of another organization that was more tailored toward adults, but all focused on entrepreneurship. And through that, the Junior Achievement portion was kind of brought to life through the assistance from YouthWorks, and that was the organization that provided these compost bins that the students can tell you a little bit more about, but they basically provided them to the students at no cost, and we then had a company basically to run. We had free product that we then had an opportunity to go out and sell for innumerable reasons to the community. So the format, as I said, changed when we pursued the first 2 weeks of the class. So we started to do the cold calling, which they all enjoyed so much, and not, and various other aspects of the business. But it did start to gain traction. The students, Marco, you can share, and Christine, that cold calling netted us a sale in 1 day of 20 composters by landing a sale with 2 local nurseries. So despite the fact that cold calling is difficult, we sold 20 compost bins in 1 day because of it. But the course, as I said, morphed, and I said, students, this is the direction we want to go. The next 4 weeks will be a little more lecture-oriented and focused on you developing your own business plans, if that's the direction you want to go. Or do you want to basically continue selling the bio bins and running with it? And it was unanimous that we said, we're all having a good time. They're selling faster than we anticipated, so let's keep doing this and push a little less time toward them developing their own business plans. So that's what was fun. That's where the whole program was so much more experiential, I think, than we ever anticipated, much less lecture-oriented, which was fine for me. And the students gleaned, I think, much more by actually going out there, making calls, going to the Tucson Botanical Gardens, listening to a compost expert, seeing the process, seeing the competitive products, making sales calls. There's no better way to learn.
So out of the classroom and into the world.
Exactly, quite right. And one other point I want to mention, we had about a half a dozen speakers that came in from the local community as well, that talked about things from financing to marketing to advertising to QuickBooks, you name it. And all those speakers, I think the students would confirm, were very helpful as well. But it was much more real world than theory, shall we say.
Well, let's talk about the real world product, because you mentioned bio bins and composting. So tell us about your company and your product, and who wants to start?
Well, we rescued garbage bins from the local landfill, and we converted them into fully functioning composters, and
they're 70 gallons.
They are 70 gallons.
Where'd you get the idea to do this? Where'd it come from?
Scott
Cordier of YouthWorks. He went to the dump one day and saw that these were just sitting there because they never decay. and he had the idea to convert them into composters. And
We have some photos that we're looking at right now. And tell us what we're seeing there. Is that you? You guys are actually...
Yeah, we're putting the logo and the name on them. You can see that they're old dumpsters converted into composters if you turn them the other way, put some wheels on them. So what he did was...
Oh, I see. They're like the trash
You
barrels.
take to the end of your
they're
driveway.
upside down.
That's
He
it.
cut the wheels off,
And
you
you
know,
drill holes in them?
put holes for aeration, and
Aeration, that's right.
cut the lid off the top so it's open in the bottom. And then they are stacked nice and neat.
So you got your product, the original product, for free just by taking them from the dump?
Well, he worked something out with them, and he was able to get them and convert them and, you know, turn them into composters.
Right.
So his students at the time, and that's part of the YouthWorks program, is to also give the students that are at YouthWorks some time to do the real world hands-on. So they actually converted all of those trash bins to the bio bins. So what the team did here was to add on the labels and do the marketing, which Scott had not had a chance to do, Scott Cordier from YouthWorks. So that was our opportunity to do the marketing, and we were extremely surprised at the success of them. Of the sales.
Marketing the hardest part of the whole project? I mean,
No, marketing, not really. Mostly just trying to sell them, you know, just getting over the nerves and the jitters of going out and trying to sell, talking to people. That was probably the hardest part. Everything else came along, and just...
so you sell the actual bio bin, and does it come with instructions on how to compost, or how does, you know, what comes with it? Let's say I was one of your customers, what would I be getting?
Well, we give you a compost guide, a laminated compost guide, so it won't get ruined or anything. You can have it, and it tells you everything you need to put in your compost, troubleshooting if you have problems with it, what you should do, what you should look for. We also have brochures that we give that tell about us and our company, and basically it. Just try to explain to them about composting.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit, what is composting and why is it important? Why is this product important for that?
well, it's taking all your household scraps like eggshells, dryer lint, banana peels, and putting them into a heated bin, and you can put like mulch, like dead leaves and all that, and it decomposes over time, and it makes very rich soil for your plants, and it really works wonders, and it saves it from going to the landfill, just taking up space, and that's a good thing to keep out of the landfill.
And why is the particular product you guys are manufacturing, selling, the bio bin, how does that aid composting, and why is it better than other products that might be out there in the market?
Well, first of all, other products out there are basically shipped from overseas, and these ones have, you know, zero carbon footprint. They come from here, they were taken out of landfill, and they're going back into the community. Whereas buying something from over there, you're just getting their plastic and bringing it over here, which in time will end up in our landfill anyways. So that's one of the benefits, and not only that, just the kind of plastic that's used to make those is good for heating and insulating heat and stuff like that. So it helps the compost decompose faster.
The heat's generated by basically what, a chemical reaction of the
sun
different,
and-
the sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sun heats it, the chemicals they break down and stuff. So
Fascinating.
yes.
So what's going to happen with this company? You guys, where are you with the whole process? You're the CEO, you're the CFO, and in the audience today we have the two of the other members of your corporation. Have you incorporated yet?
No, not yet.
Are you
We are
gonna-
currently in the process of
Yes.
doing that.
It's going to be an LLC, that's right.
Yes.
Fantastic. So you learned all about that, the legal
Yes.
ramifications of the
Yes.
different types of incorporation, and
All that stuff.
what's the next step?
Basically, qualifying as an LLC, filling out the paperwork, and just
Trademarking our logo and our
yeah.
name and all that stuff.
I think one big issue for them is securing supply. They had a
Yeah.
large supply in the back of YouthWorks. There were some 224 bio bins, and there's half are gone at least, I think more. They sold 80, if I can share that, 80 in the last 2.5 weeks, which is astounding, because I think Scott shared with us he had sold 5-ish on an annual basis in these past few years. So 80 in 3 weeks is the reason why these students said, I think we're onto something here. We need to
Yes.
start our own company.
Gee, that's pretty amazing. So you really do need to secure a good supply of these. Can you use the trash and recycling bins that have been broken or that the wheels are broken off? Are those good candidates for you guys?
Oh yeah, they end up cutting the wheels off anyways. So
Right.
Yeah.
So you make a deal with City of Tucson and Waste
Yeah.
Management to take some of those off their hands.
yes, definitely.
That's right.
I have
great.
to get in contact with some of those organizations.
What about your distribution chain? Are you going to work through established stores like Home Depot or some of the gardening stores, or how do you think you're going to distribute these?
Well, we're probably gonna just get settled and get our name out there, and hopefully, possibly someday have a store of some sort and sell composters and more.
And other things that go with that.
Yes.
Composters and composting accessories.
Green things.
Yes.
That's right. Maybe do you want to share, Christina, what were our marketing channels or sales channels for this program? So St. Mark's Church. And
Well, we
cetera.
sold at St. Mark's Church, and then we went to St. Philip's Plaza at the farmers market, and we advertise at Sunflower Market and Bike Us, a local downtown bike shop.
Craigslist.
Craigslist
Which was
on the
quite helpful.
internet, and it helped, yes, very much. Can't think. Tucson Organic Garden answering machine. They put us on their answering machine, and a lot of people heard about us from there. That got us a lot of business.
And then Tucson Clean and Beautiful.
Oh yes,
Newsletter.
and Tucson Clean
Oh,
and
that's
Beautiful
great. They're
newsletter.
terrific.
Yes.
That's great. And I'll just say I do know, I'll give you the name later, but I know the people on Harlow's nursery,
Okay.
and I think they might be interested in this product.
They
Oh
were.
yes, we actually
Oh,
sold
really?
8 of them to them.
Oh, that's great. Well, they're good people.
They were
Yes,
one of the
very
2 that
nice.
ordered. Exactly.
Chris, this is the first time this program operated at Pima Community College. What do you think in terms of the overall success, plans for the future?
Sure. Well, let me turn to the students. What do you think? Was it successful?
Yes, very successful.
I would think it was successful. Very successful.
I guess my read is if 5 students want to break off and form their own company based on the outcome of the program, I'd say it was a resounding success. So in terms of moving forward, I know Pima would definitely like to do that, if not with Los Artes in the future. And I have to mention Los Artes, a lot of the basis for this program was generated by funding from the Kellogg Foundation. So that was extremely helpful in helping Los Artes come to Pima, who then put the program on. But I know Pima either wants to offer it on their own or, and again, with conjunction with Los Artes going forward. So if any viewers out there, et cetera, have interest in wanting to help or to support our program going forward, but I know because it was successful, we definitely want to keep doing it, to offer it to students, because entrepreneurship is a great avenue, I think, for a lot of students here. And in particular, if you think of Tucson, what do we have here? Yes, we have Raytheon, Ventana Medical Systems, but predominantly it's small businesses.
Right.
So it's all the more appropriate here.
Well, let's put up some contact information right now for everyone. This is the phone number to get in touch with the Small Business Development Center at Pima Community College, and it's 206-6404. And also you can go to the Pima website at pima.edu/smallbusiness, and that's where you can connect with this youth entrepreneurship program. And also that would be a good place to go for people who might be watching who want to purchase one of the bio bins and find out more information, or maybe somebody who buys for Home Depot is watching this program and wants to give you an order for 10,000 of them. And
Great.
that would be
Okay.
pretty fantastic, wouldn't it? So what are your plans for the future of the company, guys? What do you see? How do you see this going?
Well, hopefully just to grow and be successful, in some way, shape, or form, and eventually, spread out and grow and maybe shift this to other cities and bring awareness of what other cities can do. They can do the same thing, So either, as far as taking programs throughout the country or taking the business, whichever way it goes, we don't know yet. We have no clue.
What about you? What do you think?
Well, we just want to start out small and then hopefully notify everybody, because this is such a great thing for the environment, and we just want everybody to know that this is possible and they can take the trash out of the landfill and make it something beautiful again.
Yeah, Christina, before you got involved in this program and then in this BioBin business, did you ever think that you would be an entrepreneur and have your own business? Was that something that you had in the back of your mind?
Yes, I actually originally, when I started this class, I wanted to run a restaurant. And as I went down the road in this class, I learned what businesses can make it, what businesses aren't so good right now with the economy, and a restaurant isn't one of them. And I realized that this is a good thing, a good cause, and this is what I really want to do.
Marco, did your your vision for your career change because of this program? What did you think you wanted to do before? And
I had no clue what I wanted to do. You know, it's just go out there, get a job. If you find one, you know, who knows how long it's going to last, you know, these days. So I've been out of work and I took this class and now we have a business. So might as well just keep it going.
Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting.
I just want to put a plug in if I can, and for both Christina and Marco and the two individuals in the audience that are also a part of the company, they put such a great amount of effort from the first opportunity that we had to go to the Tucson Botanical Gardens and learn more about composting Saturday morning at, I don't know, 7:30, whenever it was, and they were there. And from that meeting to all the subsequent sales, which was every Saturday and every Sunday for the last 3 weeks at St. Mark's Church and St. Philip's Plaza, they were there if they could be. If they weren't, they were helping a friend move, right, Marco? So they were there all the time, and they just really embraced this opportunity. But it was through that, I think, that they learned so much and learned such a great deal, again, experientially, et cetera. So I just, hats off to them, because they made it fun for me as an instructor because of their enthusiasm. Yeah. And one other point you guys failed to mention when you said the benefits of buying one of ours, and I should say theirs, versus the competition, at least in the precursor of the program, 60% of the proceeds were donated to charity. Oh. So that was very substantive. We didn't know how successful they would be, but obviously over half the proceeds are going to YouthWorks and to Tucson Clean and Beautiful. And the students are keeping some, and we're going to dinner after this to spend some of the proceeds. But that was very magnanimous, and
that's fantastic.
I'm sure they'll decide to do a portion of that going forward.
You're watching Government Connection, and today we're talking about youth entrepreneurship, but next week, we're going to have a program about underage drinking ordinance, and that's a new law that's gone into effect. So you kids out there, you want to watch this, because things are getting tougher for those who decide to drink before they're legally allowed to. And we really want to make sure that we don't see kids getting in trouble and drinking before they're old enough to. I'm sure you guys never did, and you probably don't know anybody who has a fake ID or anything. But it's a serious problem in our community, and particularly if you get behind the wheel. So tune in next week for that program. I'm curious, you've really probably come in contact with the whole community of Tucson, of organic gardeners and people who are involved in, you know, all this composting and kind of green gardening. Is it interesting to you when you meet these people? What do you think? I mean, are they, do you find them interesting, or do you think they're kind of peculiar? Or, you know, it's a whole part of it's a whole part of the Tucson community you probably didn't ever come in contact with before. What are your impressions?
They're just like anybody else, you know. They just have different interests, but for the most part, they're just the same, you know. They love what we're doing. They care about the environment, you know. They're just normal people, basically.
Yeah.
Real nice people too.
Yeah.
Real nice.
What do you think?
Yes, they're very nice people, I agree.
And what in your program, did you have other groups going? Did you have other businesses that are starting out of the first class, or is this it?
This is it right now.
This was the whole.
This is open and shut, but hopefully to be opened again shortly.
And when would that be, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. That's completely up to the allocation of grant money to either Las Artes or to Pima. And I know they're frantically looking for grant money right now to keep this program going, so it kind of all depends on that. But I certainly have to believe there's certainly strong interest for it on behalf of the students, so without a doubt. So hopefully sooner rather than later. And I hope they hire me, because I'd be happy to do it again.
I hope they do too. What do you guys, have you talked to your friends? Have you sort of recommended career paths or entrepreneurship type, you know, starting your own business? Have you, are you big believers in this now?
Yeah, I've told my friends about this program. They think it's really neat. My family thinks it's awesome. But all my other friends are really, they're just going to go to college and do the whole 4-year thing.
That's okay, right?
Yeah, that's
They
awesome.
could still be entrepreneurs
Yeah,
and maybe
If they choose
making
to.
some choices about what classes they take in college, and taking some business classes might be beneficial. What do you think?
Oh, well, my family and friends have been real supportive of what everything that's been going on. But as far as my friends go, I don't know. They have their own things going on and have their jobs and stuff. But who knows? Maybe one day down the line, I'll be able to give them a job. So hopefully
That would be excellent.
that would
wouldn't
be
it?
cool. Yes.
Yeah.
We
Great.
actually had one of the students from within our class that was working with us at St. Mark's, came up at the end of the second day realizing how successful it was and said, what did he ask you, Isaac?
Can I have a job?
Can I have a job? So, exactly, they're looking to hire already. So,
What have you learned from this?
what have I learned? Plans change, that's for sure, when it comes to the course. But I think for this group of students, again, I think about half the students came in having an idea of what they wanted to do in terms of running their own business. But I would say the majority were probably on the fence or just wanted to know, hey, what is this entrepreneurship all about? And my biggest takeaway is, yes, we used some material from Junior Achievement, yes, from another organization, which was very helpful. But the key really is getting the students out there, a day in the life, and living and breathing, the cold calling, the sales, the customers coming by and not having interest or showing incredible interest and seeing things fly off the shelves, almost selling themselves. They really went well. So for me, the takeaway is, if and when we do this again, incorporate as much of that experiential learning as possible.
And will you bring these folks and your other students back in
Guest
as
speakers.
examples of
Guest
Yeah,
speakers.
sure, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I hope they could come in on their busy schedules.
When they're not,
We'll make time.
when they're not in board meetings and doing
Exactly.
stock distributions.
Yeah.
Quite right, quite right.
Mr. Driving.
It's a great group of young adults, definitely. Very happy for them.
Fantastic. Well, it's been just a pleasure to have you guys on the program today talking about this. Any parting words? Anything you want to say that we haven't said?
Hi, Mom.
All right.
Fire bins.
Marco, Christina, and Chris, thank you so much for being on Government Connection, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Government Connection.